All right. Hey, everyone. I'm Alex, the director of Outer Wilds. Today, I'm going to be showing off some gameplay. Outer Wilds is a space exploration game. We play as the newest member of our village's space program, which is sort of like this backwoods version of NASA. There's our ship. And it's also a mystery. It turns out that our character is trapped in a time loop. And so we're going to do the sensible thing. We're going to suit up and blast off and go explore the solar system in search of answers as to what the hell is going on. We are in space. We've taken some liberties with the size of planets. The whole game takes place in this one solar system of miniature planets, but each planet is super dense in terms of the things that you can find, and sort of like the Russian doll approach to level design. There's just a lot of stuff buried beneath the surface. Oh, I'm gonna try to land on the moon though here, because it's close and relatively spoiler-free. Oh, and let's say hi to Esker. Esker is a Hearthian, just like us, so that's what we look like under the suit, minus the hat. And Esker is also a member of your village's space program, except we talk to them here and they tell us that they've been on the moon for a while. It's sort of like the rest of the space program kind of forgot them, so they've just been up here for a long time. They're just happy to have the company. But we're just here to say hi. We're going to go bounce over to the North Pole. The gravity on the moon, you can see it's a lot less. I'm using my jetpack to kind of scoot around. And I'm going to pull up our signal scope, one of the tools we have while we're exploring. A signal scope can pick up signals from distant planets. So here we can hear there's someone's like playing the flute over on Giant Steep. Probably another member of the space program, so we're going to go investigate. Spaceflight in Outer Wilds is pretty realistic in the sense that there's no friction. So if you start moving in one direction, you're not going to stop. You have to kind of null out your velocity using your thrusters. But we didn't want people to have to be astrophysicists to play the game, so we added, there's an autopilot you can engage. You can lock onto a planet and press a button, and we'll start moving towards it. It's not perfect. Like if the sun is between us and our target, we'll just go straight into the sun. So, you got to put a little bit of thought into it. And you don't have to use it. You can fly manually if you want to. I'm actually gonna bomb out of it here and go in manual to Giant Steep. Giant Steep's a gas planet, so manual in this case means just like slamming into the atmosphere. Ooh, and there's some campfire smoke. I'll pull up the signal scope. Your ship has a version of all of the tools you have on foot, and yep, that's the source of the flute music, so let's put the ship down. I'm landing like on the beach because it's a nice open space, but if you want to, you could land in a tree. It's up to you. We don't really stop you from doing much of anything in this game. And here's Gabbar. Gabbar is the chillest member of the space program, for sure. A lot of the planets in the game have other members of the space program. They've set up their own little camp, and they kind of act as guides to each planet. You can talk to them and they'll give you hints about what might be worth exploring, or you can come back to them and tell them about things you found. In this case, Gabbar is going to tell us that there's this other island that they've dubbed Statue Island that has this big rock arch, and it might be worth going to check out. But Outer Wilds is it's not a game where we're going to tell you what to go do. There's everything you find in the game is sort of just giving you a hint about, hey, this might be interesting, or this might help you go farther down the path to solving this mystery, and it's very much up to you to take those leads and actually go and investigate. But the world isn't always going to be friendly towards you as you're doing that. This is a world where there's a lot of huge natural systems at play. So Giant Steep here has these tornadoes that actually will toss entire islands into space, and then they'll come crashing back down, and of course if we're on the island when that happens, that's something we're going to have to deal with. So there's a huge theme here of nature as sort of this force you can't control and kind of have to learn how to deal with. And different planets in the game are more dangerous than others, but every planet has some sort of unique, huge system that you kind of have to learn how to, not die from it. This looks like the rock arch island Gabbar was talking about, so we are going to put the ship down and hop out. We still have the jetpack that we were using on the moon, but Giant's Deep, if you look in the lower left-hand corner of our HUD there, the gravity here is about 2 times what it is on our home planet. So even with the jetpack's booster, all we can do are these little short hops. And every planet sort of has its own unique gravity. Another tool at our disposal is the translator, which we can use to decode this ancient text. The ruins and the text were created by this ancient race called the Nomai, who used to live in the solar system a long time ago. They also left technology like these gravity crystals that let us walk on walls. And a lot of the planets in Outer Wilds have ruins left by the Nomai civilization. And the more you explore, you sort of read their text and sort of start to learn what happened to these people and what role they played in the overarching mysteries. But they're dead. And our final exploration tool is the little scout. It's kind of this little probe we can throw out into areas that we might not be able to reach ourselves. And we can take photos and kind of scan the environment and kind of get hints about how to proceed. And there's also a lot of times when we read Nomai text, like this piece of text right here, we'll get clues about where we might want to go explore. And this like piece of text right here is just telling us that, oh, hey, like, yeah, the door downstairs is locked, but there's another secret way into the room inside this island. And so a lot of the game is decoding the Nomai text, not just for the story, but for sort of the clues about where we might want to go explore or how to reach a secret area. Because there's a lot of hidden places in the solar system that you can only reach once you know sort of the trick to get to getting there. There's also things like this ruin here, all this glowy stuff. What does it do? We don't know. I mean, I know, but I'm not going to tell you. You have to go to Brittle Hollow and learn the clue. We've got bigger things to worry about anyway. Tornado's approaching. And we are in space, along with the island. We just got tossed up by that tornado. There are ways to survive this situation, if you know what you're doing. But I'm going to demonstrate what happens to most players, the first time they get tossed into space by a tornado. And we're dead. But it's okay, because, like we said earlier, our character is trapped in a time loop. And so every time we die, we're actually just going to wake up back at the campfire where we started on Timber Hearth. But we are going to keep all of our knowledge. So everything we've learned, any clue we found, we're going to be able to use that on our next loop to try to push farther and farther into the mystery and eventually, hopefully, figure out what's actually going on. And that's Outer Wilds. Thanks so much for watching. I hope you'll check out the game when it releases later this year.